Welcome, everybody. We're at the Innovation PodCast studio, live here with some guests from Red River. It's Carrie Stevenson and Michael Gary hosting, and we have Scott MacAulay and Paul Vogt, the president of Red River College, with us. Welcome, folks.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. So we're talking about we'll call it Red River in the Alley. For the listeners out there who haven't had a chance to come down Innovation Alley, before we were called Innovation Alley, Red River and the downtown campus was really fundamental to creating this change here. For myself, I was hanging out in the basement of 321 at my business. We had a bunch of riffraff coming down the street, and then all of a sudden, these students started showing up, and there was this whole community that got built down here. And Red River, that was that pivotal changing moment. This whole area. So thank you for that. It's been great. I'm glad Red River could be involved, and we just love to hear from a Red River perspective. What is life in the alley like, and where do you see things going?
Well, let me set it up because Paul, I think, was there for day one in another aspect of life. And it's kind of interesting, him coming back, seeing the fruits of this and taking it forward. And I know the staff at Red River College is really excited to have him in the chair leading us forward on this. And so it's an exciting time to have him leading the charge. And his engagement in the alley has been incredible.
Well, just to go back to the beginning, Scott mentioned I was working in government when the Dewar government came in '99, and there's a lot of debate then about where the downtown campus would go. There had already been decided that there would be a new campus. There was a need for it, but the two options were right beside University of Winnipeg or down here in the Exchange. And there was some thinking that you could create something like a Ryerson, a bit of a combined college university approach if you had the location by the University of Winnipeg. Yeah. In the end, what swung it was that Mayor Murray, who realized this was for him something right in his backyard, put a lot of heritage tax credits on the table, and so it was determined to build it here. But then we actually made the decision on the location, really not knowing what the new campus would look like. And thankfully, two local architects, Corbett and Sibonell, I think is still very much beloved by Scott and the people who work there.
It's gorgeous.
The students who study there.
Yeah.
It's spectacular.
Walking down William on a Saturday, like an evening in summer, and you just look at this beautiful building and you think, well done. And it really just popped things off. Really, it exploded the neighborhood into this tech hub, this center of density and creativity.
Yeah, I guess after Red River's in, then Ascentworks popped up in what was previously an abandoned warehouse. Yeah. And then it's just got a little bit out of control since then.
Yeah, I think we actually demonstrated, this was all before Richard, Florida. So we actually we're setting the groundwork for something we didn't even realize that we had. And I think now, though, I think we can become a little bit more self-aware that this is a recipe. Bring a lot of students down to a downtown area, combine it with entrepreneurs, a bit of cultural industry, and you've got that that mixture that they all talk about for a really creative, dynamic downtown.
Richard, Florida loves Innovation Alley because I've heard him say it to my face.
So what sort of steps would you foresee as being the next logical things to happen?
Well, we actually have the opportunity. I think we're becoming aware now that we can be an agent for urban development and business development. And we have an opportunity to bring our international students down to the campus. It would be good for them to actually be closer to the services and more integrated with the whole college. And I think it would also be good because that brings another dimension to what's already occurring in the Exchange in the downtown, which is you've got innovation connected to education and then the international students, all of whom are kind of portals back to these global markets. Yeah. And so we've got a cluster of students, 1,200 a year go through the Via Rail station for their language training. We also have some in the Massey building. But if we could bring them all together into a new structure and expand our Princess Street campus, I think that actually would do an enormous amount to complement the work that's being done to bring more innovators down to the...
Yeah, and build the ecosystem, right?
Exactly.
Where I found... if I put the 10-year hat on, going from not much going on here to the students coming in to, in the last 3 years, we had a number of situations where the Red River students were taking part-time gigs in the area, right? So they're coming to school, they're living in the area, they're working in the area. The density happened. Dan's a perfect example of Dan Blair. Went to school down here, started his business here. He's growing and actually hiring employees here. So we're starting to see the ecosystem. I'm looking forward to the $100 million a year startup that came through a Red River program, anchoring themselves on the street here, and it seems like the momentum's there. From a barrier perspective, what are some of the things that we need to solve to make these next steps happen? To build, expand the campus, or get more folks down here. What are some of the challenges you see that we need to deal with?
Well, I think Scott and I were talking about this earlier, that we need to work with the city and also with the province, but to make sure that that it's a challenge to take heritage buildings, and we do want to preserve the heritage quality. It's a big part of the atmosphere of this area, but to do that and to do it with meeting all of the regulatory requirements is expensive, and so I think we need to work with all parts of government that once we determine that this is the goal, we really want to build this cluster and build these dimensions into it, then I think we need everybody on page with what is the map, what are the geographic dimensions, and what kind of instruments do we need to make sure that kind of development takes place.
Perfect. Yeah. If folks want to learn more about the Red River Downtown Campus and some of the future plans, where can they go? Would they hop onto the website, or where would be the best place to find information?
I think the website is one source, but I think we'll be actually reaching out to the community. We have to do our homework, and we've already met with both levels of government to lay the vision out. And I think the next step is that we actually need to start holding some forums and inviting people down. I think that'll generate a little bit more buzz around this. And once people actually see what it is, there's actually, as you talk to people in the business community, and I think more broadly within Winnipeg, there's a lot of support a lot of affection for the exchange and what it's become. And a lot of people who just come down for the Fringe Festival or the Jazz Festival have glimpsed the kind of excitement and the attractions that the area has. So I think a lot of people will get on board once they actually see that vision. And as I said, I think Red River can be a real catalyst for a portion of it.
I give all these tours of Innovation Alley, and what you hear at the end of it, it's like, I thought all these buildings were empty, and it's like, well, look at all this energy that's going on here. Wow, what's happened? So it's fantastic.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to the next decade. So thank you very much for coming down and having a chat with us, and looking forward to hearing from again, more professors and instructors and students and everyone from Red River. So thank you, and we look forward to talking in the future.
Thank you very much.
Guys. Thanks,